Recent flooding has led to damage for some car owners, causing local auto shops to get extra busy. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with what one local Joplin shop is seeing.
How to prevent yourself from becoming a victim of catalytic converter theft.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, the weather has cleared up after yesterday's storms, but some car owners are still left feeling the effects. This is KOAM News at 10. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a Joplin auto shop about the effects flooding can have on vehicles.
Cars breathe air, they don't breathe water, just like we don't breathe water. So once the water gets up inside the engine, it'll cause them to stall and it can cause severe damage.
Rick Nixon, owner of Nixon's Garage in Joplin, owns one of many area auto shops getting busy because of recent storms. Their phone lines have been more active than usual, getting calls about cars sliding off the road or being damaged by floods.
Well, it was really busy. Started off about 10:30, right before the rain, and with a tow, and then once the rain began, it was one tow after another, bringing in cars that were slid off the road or damaged due to the rain.
One major issue they've been seeing is water creeping into the engine.
Several of the cars that we towed yesterday or that we brought into the shop went through the water. The water is ingested through the air filter and up into the engine. It can fill up the cylinders and cause the engine to hydrolock, which can do severe internal engine damage.
Holly White, a Joplin resident, is one of many who came to Nixon's Garage after experiencing this kind of engine damage.
It wouldn't start at all. It was just, you'd think it was just stalled in the water.
White hadn't even driven yet. Before she could even try, water had already run through her vehicle.
It was parked on the driveway at just enough of an angle, I think, with the storms we had, made it to where a fair amount of that water, got caught up into the motor and in the front end.
She says after calling multiple auto shops, she's grateful to have found one with availability after Thursday's weather. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Joplin Little League will have to find a new spot to play ball, at least for a couple of weeks. Last night's flooding damaged the ball fields at Landreth Park. 2 of the fields could be cleaned up and reopened in just 2 weeks. One of the fields might never reopen. Joplin Little League will have to replace much of the field's dirt, and they could use some help on Saturday. They're looking for volunteers to help come clean things up. Little League officials aren't sure how much the repairs will cost, but they say it will be at least $1,800. Campgrounds are getting ready for what could be a busy Memorial Day weekend, but yesterday's heavy rain could hamper some plans. Big Elk Floats and camping in Pineville is completely booked, with campers coming in early on Friday, but an entire section of their tent camping area was flooded due to heavy rain. They hope the river will cooperate so that campers can hit the water.
With the sun coming out today and it's drying things up, all of our RV sites are still available, and most of them are still coming in. And we're hoping to be able to float tomorrow, but only anybody knows.
Now, if you plan to visit our local rivers or streams this weekend, we have a way for you to check their levels on our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. And considerably drier today, but considerably cooler as well, Doug.
Yeah, actually kind of chilly, and of course, like the story we just did, a lot of people are heading to float or to the lakes or whatever outside, and it doesn't feel like late May, early June. 66 for a high. We started at 57. In fact, we're lower than that right now, and our temperatures are going to continue to drop off for us tonight. Pretty much clear skies. There's not a lot going on here. There's not a lot going on across the Central Plains, except our temperatures are dropping. 57 at Stockton Lake, Grand Lake 55. We have Parsons at 57, Fort Scott at about 58, and we have this kind of light northerly wind at about 5 to 10, which is going to stick around for us during the overnight hours tonight. All right, through the overnight hours, we drop back into the mid 40s for overnight lows, down to 45, maybe a notch or 2 warmer for us tomorrow afternoon. High temp right around 68. We also have some rain chances, which are returning. We're going to look at that in the rest of the weekend here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. Ottawa County authorities arrest 2 Southeast Kansas jail escapees. The suspects, Mark Hopkins and Michael Martzloff, escaped Monday night through a plumbing area in the Columbus, Kansas jail. The suspects, who authorities say were armed at the time of arrest, now face additional charges of aggravated escape from custody. A woman was also arrested following a search warrant yesterday morning for her alleged role in the escape. She's being held without bond on allegations of conspiracy to commit aggravated escape, aiding and abetting, and obstructing justice. Authorities filed charges in connection with the shooting death of an Anderson, Missouri man. Levi Watkins is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action in the Tuesday shooting. Authorities say Watkins and another man got into a fight with the victim when gunfire was exchanged. Watkins and the other unnamed suspect fled the scene. The victim later died at the hospital. The Woodson County Sheriff is sounding the alarm about an increase in catalytic converter thefts in Yates Center, Kansas, and around the county. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to the sheriff to learn his thoughts on why it's happening and what residents can do to protect their vehicles.
Woodson County Sheriff Jeff McCullough says his team has investigated at least 5 catalytic converter thefts since the start of the new year, and he has a theory as to why it's happening in Woodson County, Kansas.
You know, the bottom line, I believe, is drug related. It goes all back to drugs. We have a meth problem in Woodson County.
A catalytic converter is a device that reduces toxic gases and other pollutants from a car's exhaust. They're frequently stolen because they contain precious metals which can fetch quick cash on the black market. In Kansas, State Attorney General Derek Schmidt released a formal legal opinion stating that catalytic converters are covered under the Scrap Metal Theft Reduction Act, which means scrap metal dealers need to report the purchase of catalytic converters to the KBI's database. Sheriff McCullough thinks that's a step in the right direction.
We are going to be monitoring those scrap yards and make sure that they are monitoring and reporting like they're supposed to be reporting. If they're not, we'll be notifying the Attorney General's office and they'll be investigated also.
When it comes to preventing catalytic converter thefts, the sheriff says to keep your car in a locked garage if possible and consider some high-tech help.
I would suggest folks get a camera. They're not that expensive. They're relatively inexpensive. It's pretty good insurance. If you can catch them on camera, wow, that's great for us.
In Yates Center, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The Woodson County Sheriff says they're still looking into whether the catalytic converter thefts are being committed by one person or multiple people. If you have any tips, you're asked to call the Woodson County Sheriff's Office. Still ahead, with COVID down and vaccinations up, travelers are taking off and hitting the road this holiday weekend. We'll look at what you can expect. And GOP lawmakers block a commission on the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol. With new COVID-19 cases declining and much of the country vaccinated, this Memorial Day weekend is feeling a bit more like old times. As Michael George reports from New York's LaGuardia Airport, millions more Americans are getting out of town.
The Beekler family is flying south to visit relatives for the Memorial Day weekend.
Feels great.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but good.
They're among more than 37 million Americans expected to travel 50 miles or more from home for the holiday. AAA says that's a 60% jump over last year, when COVID restrictions were in effect across much of the nation.
We've been locked down for about a year and a half, so it's time.
Can't wait to see the in-laws and the aunties who have been sequestered for all these months.
Preston Ford, who attends a U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in New York, is visiting his family in Dallas.
So it's going to be good to get to go home, and then when we come back, things are going to open up a bit more.
After hitting an historic low in 2020, the number of people boarding planes this holiday is forecast to rise nearly 6 times to more than 2.5 million travelers. For now, that trip must include a federally mandated mask in all airports and on all planes.
We had to cancel our trip last year due to COVID. So we don't care about the traffic, we'll just go with the flow, and we're headed and having a good time.
A good time will come despite a pinch at the pump, with gasoline prices around a 7-year high. AAA recommends filling the tank before arriving at popular destinations, where prices are likely to be even higher. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, despite the surge in travel compared to last year, there are still nearly 6 million fewer people traveling, or 13% less than during this time back in 2019. The bill to create a 9/11-style commission to investigate the causes of the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol failed in the Senate. Republicans used the filibuster to block a vote on the commission. GOP leaders say the commission is not necessary because Senate committees and the Department of Justice are already conducting investigations. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer could bring the bill back to the floor at a later date. The Palestinian Health Ministry says Israeli soldiers today shot and killed a Palestinian during clashes in the occupied West Bank. A few hundred Palestinians had gathered in the northern West Bank to protest Israeli settlements. Witnesses say some in the crowd threw rocks at soldiers and burned tires. Israeli soldiers opened fire, killing one man. Tensions have remained high in the region despite a ceasefire reached last week between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas in Gaza. Well, good news for campers and staffers this summer. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says those attending or working at summer camps who are fully vaccinated won't need to wear masks. Right now, children ages 12 and over can get Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC has previously said people who are fully vaccinated do not need to routinely test for COVID-19 unless they are experiencing symptoms. A study of over 1,500 college athletes who had coronavirus finds about 2% developed myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart. Researchers say most were asymptomatic and myocarditis was only detected through an MRI. Myocarditis is closely associated with COVID-19 and is the leading cause of death in competitive athletes. Well, later, the Frontenac Raiders look for third place in the state tournament. We'll have the highlights in sports.
Plus, it's kind of chilly outside right now. We're going to start to warm up over the weekend. We'll look at that coming up.
Over 100 roofing do the rest.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be a much drier day, thankfully, for us today after all the heavy amounts of rain that we saw yesterday with the showers. The thunderstorms rolling through the region. None today, but for the month, over 7 inches. For the year, we're at 21.63. Average is about 18. We're about halfway the amount of rain that we should have for this year. Of course, April, May, June are very wet months, even though we start to push out a severe weather season in June. It is a very stormy month on average, but already we're 3.5 inches above where we should be for this time of the year. All right, this is our time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Great time lapse. Started with the clouds, partly sunny skies during the afternoon. Great shot at the sun setting throughout the evening hours, and mostly clear skies for us right now. It's just chilly. Check this out. Stockton Lake, it's at 57. Near Table Rock, it's at 55. Grand Lake 55, Pittsburgh 57, 57 as well. Yates Center, Independence is sitting at 55 degrees. So it's kind of chilly, and we're going to drop all the way back into the mid 40s a little bit later on tonight. We have these light northerly winds at about 5 to 10, which continue to push through. It's not a big deal, but it just makes it feel a little bit cooler than what it actually is. Looking north along range line, currently outside on the east side of Joplin, sitting at 57. Northerly winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 72%. And really any clouds out there, a few scattered on the Missouri side, but that is just about it. So there's not much going on here across the entire Central Plains. If we widen the vantage point, you can see back to our east. Here's the storm system that gave us all the showers, the thunderstorms, the severe weather as we worked through the daytime hours yesterday. Showers, thunderstorms down through Texas, and then a little bit of rain out across Central Rockies, but our next little wave, this little indention out here across the eastern parts of Nevada, western Utah, and that will start to affect us late in the day on Sunday. Until then, I think we're going to be dry, so most of the holiday weekend looks pretty good. Kind of chilly, mid 40s for us tonight. Well, partly sunny skies tomorrow, very similar to what we have seen today. Temperatures maybe a notch or two warmer. 45 to start, 64 by noon. High temp right around 68. North winds at about 5 to 10. Again, chilly tomorrow night. We drop back upper 40s for overnight lows. And then again on Sunday. Kind of cool, but warmer. We'll go into lower 70s. Clouds will increase throughout the afternoon. Our next little wave will start to roll in. This is a weak wave. So here's late Sunday into Monday. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. And then again, a second wave comes out. So here's Tuesday. We'll still have showers into Wednesday. So we are going to have these rain chances returning as we head into next week. The weekend kind of cool for this time of the year. We should be into the 80s. Thunderstorms Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. However, severe threat is very low, which is good news, something we'll watch. All right, 45 tonight, 68 tomorrow, 72 on Sunday, 70 on Memorial Day itself. We stay 60s and 70s for about the next 5 or 6 days. Finally, 80s return late next week.
It is considerably chilly. I mean, compared to what it should be, this is what, April type weather?
Yeah, this is
around
kind of
here.
mid to late April weather.
Makes me wonder about the summer. Maybe it'll be nice to us.
It's going to get hot.
Doug, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, the Webb City boys claim a track and field state championship. Plus, Frontenac baseball battles for third place in the state tournament in Manhattan. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more next.
Pledge to learn how.
The Frontenac Raiders have made it to the final day of the 3A state baseball tournament. Now, earlier this afternoon, the Raiders dropped their semifinal game to Anderson County 5-4 in extra innings. So this evening, Frontenac right back on the field, looking to take third at state against Minneapolis. Now, bottom of the first inning, Caston Fields with the bunt. He will be safe at first. Other side of the diamond, ball gets away. Logan Myers comes home to tie it up at 1. Minneapolis in the fourth, Trenton Meckel sends it out to right. Good attempt here out there, but it is dropped. Lions score to take the lead. Late in the game here, Brett Cleland with the pop-up to right. He doesn't like it, but the ball does get down. 2-run score on the drop. And that's it. Raiders win this one 7-5. Our own Danny Terzer was there and has more on Frontenac's finish at state.
It was a tough start to the day for Frontenac, falling in walk-off fashion in the state semifinals, but the Raiders bounced back to take third place in the 3A state tournament here in Manhattan on Friday night.
I told him, I said, look at your jersey, it says Frontenac. I said, we fight for everything and we don't quit till it's over. And we've got to somehow pick ourselves up and go back out and compete hard because you want to bring home something when you come. And that was our goal, and they found a way to come back and do that.
While it wasn't the result they wanted Friday in Manhattan, the Raiders send their 5 seniors off with a win and a 19-6 overall record.
They're a tremendous group of guys. I can't say enough about them. I mean, we had great senior leadership, and they kind of set the tone for it. And we found a way just to come together as a team with a lot of different, younger guys, everybody mixed in, and was really happy with the way they did things.
It's been a whole lot since I didn't get my last season. But I've been working hard, trying to get some hardware to bring home, and I did just that.
In Manhattan, Kansas, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
The Colgan softball team on the field today, aiming for back-to-back state championships. And check it out, the Panthers get it done, beating Burlingame 6-0 to claim the 2A title. Caitlin Crossland throws a complete game shutout with 10 strikeouts. She also had a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. That's a third state championship in Colgan softball program history. Today's the opening day of the NCBA Division I World Series in Pittsburgh. It's an 8-team field featuring the best collegiate club baseball teams in the country. Had 4 games today at Pitt State's Al Ortolani Field, and the championship game will be on Wednesday at 7.
I think what is so great about our players is they are truly playing for the love of the game. They are actually paying a lot of money out of their own pockets just to play this game. None of them are on scholarship. They are just doing it because they love baseball. And I think when people come out and see our games, they see the passion that our players have, and it really translates. And I love watching it. I love our players. So if you're able to come out, we would invite you to come out and enjoy some baseball.
The Webb City boys are track and field state champs. The Cardinals finished 7 points clear of Kearney for first place at the Missouri Class 4 state meet today. They had 6 individuals and 2 relay teams earn top 5 finishes this afternoon. You can check out all of them in this story on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. That's it for sports. We're back after this. Brought to you by Oper Honda.
A Fort Scott man killed in action during the attack on Pearl Harbor has come home. William Barnett was buried today at the Fort Scott National Cemetery. Barnett was 21 years old when he was killed during the attack. Today's burial gives the family some closure. Barnett was buried with full military honors. The remains of another area veteran have been returned to the U.S. Remains turned over to the U.S. by North Korea have been identified as those of Private First Class Bill Hobbs from South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. Hobbs was 20 when he was reported missing in action on November 30th, 1950, after his unit was attacked near the Chosin River in North Korea. His remains will be returned for burial scheduled for June 26th in Coffeyville, Kansas. Leading into Memorial Day weekend, a number of volunteers from Easter Seals Midwest and Avalon Hospice joined veterans to place flags on the graves of other veterans at the Mount Hope Cemetery in Webb City. More than 1,500 flags were placed in the cemetery. Some of the oldest veteran graves date back to World War I. On Memorial Day, 3 veterans' remains will be interred at Mount Hope Cemetery at 10 a.m. And we take time now to honor a local veteran. First Lieutenant Ned Wall, Parsons, Kansas native, served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute First Lieutenant Ned Wall. He's tonight's 4th State hero. Final check of that forecast now from Doug. Hopefully we're going to stay dry for a little bit.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Tonight's going to be dry. Tomorrow's going to be dry. It's just going to be kind of chilly. Mid-40s tonight, 68 tomorrow, which is about 12 to 15 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. Down to 48 again tomorrow night, 72 on Sunday. Some rain trying to sneak in late Sunday night and into Memorial Day, but the bulk of the weekend looks pretty good.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. And that's our time for now. Thanks for making us part of your night.